So today's video deals with an aspect of the community that's being stingy surrounding the modding aspect of Starfield, which actually ties into the sponsor of today's video pretty well, which is actually giving away something Starfield related. The sponsor of today's video is Signal RGB, which is currently giving out a badass Starfield-themed PC through a giveaway you don't want to miss. A unique PC like this doesn't come very often, and a powerful one at that, featuring the latest generation Intel i7 13700K processor and AMD Radeon 7900 XTX graphics card. Beyond boasting that NASA punk aesthetic that Starfield leans into, the PC also integrates itself with the game with these 6 indicator lights that react and correspond to your ship's in-game stats. If one of these are below 50% in the game, then the appropriate indicator on the PC will pulse red, which is made possible by Signal RGB's application that syncs RGB devices from any brand. Offering even more functionality are the 2 stream decks at the bottom of the PC, as well as the custom knobs and icons you can take advantage of for quick access to features and shortcuts. Customizing the hardware of this PC is also super easy, with a front screen coming off and allowing you to access the internal components for servicing. This PC was meticulously built by Skytech Gaming, and it could end up being yours if you enter the giveaway by using my link in the video description and comment section below. Now, on the other hand, we've got this modder who has faced some controversy because of the way they've decided to paywall and even DRM a rather useful mod that helps the game look better on PC and or improve its performance. Now, Starfield as a game, there's been quite a bit of discourse surrounding it. When it comes to Metascore right now, the Xbox Series X version is sitting at an 85 and the PC version is sitting at an 87. The user scores in like the 6s and 5s. There's been some mixed reception. I've been playing the game myself and I'm gonna discuss what my experience has been like in a later video. There are definitely things that I do like about it, and there are definitely things that I do have qualms about. Among the qualms that I do have with the game as a user of NVIDIA graphics card is its lack of DLSS implementation, as reported here by news outlet The Verge. There's an article published back in August 31st, 2023. The headline speaks for itself. Starfield doesn't have NVIDIA's DLSS at launch. And that was an active choice on the part of Bethesda because of a sponsorship deal that they have with AMD. So they have support for AMD's FSR technology, but DLSS, that's in the back burner for now, likely a part of this sponsorship deal. Now, when AMD was inquired about this whole situation, their gaming chief, Frank Azer, insisted that if Bethesda want to do DLSS, they have AMD's full support. He says there's nothing blocking Bethesda from adding it to the game. But at the same time, he did disclose that money absolutely exchanges hands. When we do bundles, we ask them, are you willing to prioritize FSR? It's a request rather than a demand. If they ask us for DLSS support, we always tell them yes. Well, it's hard for me to say for sure why DLSS wasn't included in Starfield. I feel like there's got to be at least some form of pressure for Bethesda to hold off on DLSS to, quote, prioritize FSR when money is exchanged. And if this were to be the case, this wouldn't be the first instance in which a developer sponsored by AMD made the decision to drop DLSS, as reported here by John Linman, who tweeted the following screenshot of a now deleted tweet, where he talks about how he's personally spoken with 3 developers that implemented DLSS pre-release and had to remove it due to sponsorship, which is just so shitty. I mean, one of the cool things about PC gaming is how open the platform feels. And now we're starting to get certain benefits depending on which brand of graphics card you purchase. And this whole idea of excluding features like AI upscaling and performance enhancements because money was exchanged behind the scenes, that's just very anti-consumer, frankly. Now, as a result of that, modders are already stepping in, trying to implement DLSS themselves. And among them is a modder going by the name Pure Dark. This is their Patreon page, and one of the benefits that's provided if you subscribe to their $5 a month subscription is that you gain early access to test builds for the kinds of mods that he releases, which is creating DLSS 3 and DLSS 2/FSR2/XESS mods. People have already tested out his DLSS mods and they've proven to work. John Linman tweeted here that the image quality of the game looks much better. I've also installed the DLSS mod. Good lord, does it make a big difference. Neon is so messy with FSR2 and normal TAA, while DLSS is pristine. And then from a performance perspective, if you have a 4000 series NVIDIA graphics card, then you can benefit from DLSS 3 frame gen And the mod provided by Pure Dark has proven to be effective on this front, doubled performance on a 4090 that was CPU bound, now averaging 130 plus frames per second. Now that's great, he's providing some really useful mods, but where the controversy kicks in is not only the fact that he's paywalling the DLSS 3 version in particular behind a paywall, being the Patreon subscription, he also decided to implement DRM to ensure that people pay, that people subscribe to his Patreon to access this DLSS 3 mod. And there's already plenty of controversy surrounding games being DRM'd, but now we're starting to see modding that's being paywalled being DRM'd as well. See, that's a line that a lot of people are like, whoa, 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 let's back up here. The very notion of paywalling mods has people feeling uneasy as it is because it isn't in line with the spirit of modding. Like, it's one thing to put up a donation link, but offer the mods for free and be like, hey, whoever needs to download these, go ahead. But also, if you want to support my work, point to your donation link. That's great. But to be like, you have to pay me to access this mod, and to make sure that you pay, I'm going to implement DRM. That's where things get kind of murky. And so we're seeing articles like this from Dexerto. Starfield DLSS mod might be paywalled and fans are divided. Scrolling down, there are details about how on August 19th, Pure Dark released their new Red Dead Redemption 2 DLSS 3 mod. With it comes a new form of DRM for the mod. And scrolling down here, you can see right here a quote where part of the installation process involves pressing end to open the menu, then authenticate for the first time. No continuous subscription needed. Any account that has subscribed before can pass the authentication. So there is some kind of authentication process, some kind of DRM. This is something that was pointed out by Twitter users, and you can see right here scrolling down that this was not well received. I'm fine with donations. I would gladly donate to him, but putting it like this, nah. Again, a mandatory paywall combined with DRM, and this is something that has been implemented in Starfield's DLSS 3 mod as well. DLSS 2 has been put out for free by Pure Dark. You can see right here on Nexus Mods that Pure Dark did upload the replacement for FSR2 with DLSS or XeSS, but DLSS 3 specifically, which benefits performance greatly for those who have the 4000 series of NVIDIA graphics cards, that is behind a paywall and a DRM. And as this Twitter user pointed out, this will likely set a precedent. I expect this will affect all of his upcoming DLSS Super Res / frame gen mods, for example, for Starfield. So if you don't sub to his Patreon for at least $5 a month, then you won't be able to get his mods working for your games. And so we're seeing plenty of posts of people who were once subscribed to his Patreon and are now deciding to cancel their subscription. Canceling my Patreon sub to him, says this post with over 100 likes. And there are plenty of similar comments if you look around here. Here's another set of comments. Here's somebody saying, distasteful DRM for mods. Basically, I was a Patreon subscriber for him, but I just canceled. Now, there are those out there who are in support of paying him for his work and stuff like that. But I feel like more often than not, you'll see that the more popular comments are along the lines of, this is not in the spirit of modding. And so it should come as no surprise that the community got to work and very quickly cracked this modder's DRM and made the mod available for free. The free non-DRM version of this mod quickly spread across the internet, so I guess if you know where to look, it's a non-issue. But the fact that this step had to be taken at all just left a poor taste in people's mouths. And right here it is further explained by Dexerto. The DLSS 3 mod sports frame generation tech for those on NVIDIA's RTX 40 series cards. Pure Dark knew that this would be wanted by a large swath of the audience and is protecting their work with DRM. And it's not surprising that the mod was cracked so quickly. I mean, games from the biggest publishers and developers eventually get cracked, so I'm not surprised that Pure Dark's DRM didn't secure his mod for all that long. More specifically, the mod was protected with a custom DRM and VRM, a Google protection software, but this has been cracked and quickly shared less than 24 hours after Pure Dark's original upload. So his DRM isn't really all that effective and has caused quite a bit of backlash. On Reddit, you'll see people spreading the word that DLSS 3 plus FG mod for Starfield by Pure Dark has been cracked already. Paid mods get what they deserve for implementing their own DRM inside them. You can see right here that plenty of people are not happy about the way Pure Dark has decided to paywall and DRM his mods. This post right here has garnered thousands of upvotes, and you've got plenty of comments saying things like, paywall mods, bruv. Bethesda tried this shit years ago and see how it ended. So on and so forth. I endorse donations and mods all the way. Again, optional donations. People saying, hey, please support my work. People will gladly do it if, they feel like the mod really had a positive impact. but to demand money to gain access and implement DRM again just doesn't sit well. The mod apparently had VM protect plus custom protection. They got what they deserve, so on and so forth. Good. That shit is beyond a joke. Totally fine with mod makers putting up a donation link for anyone that wants to reward them for their work. But paywalling, then DRM is dirty as shit. Hope going forward his work is cracked each and every time and face rubbed in it. It's de nouveau level fuckery. Yeah, this is what a lot of the discussion surrounding Pure Dark's monetization scheme of his mods looks like. On Twitter, you've got users like PC Focus who tweet about general and interesting PC info and news, cracked/pirated games, DRM and de nouveau info, as well as benchmarks. They were none too happy about this, and we're glad to see that the mod was cracked so quickly. Starfield DLSS 3 FG mod by Pure Dark has been cracked already. Paid mods get what they deserve for having DRM implemented. And scrolling down, comments are very similar. The most upvoted include bro put DRM on his mod. And then beyond the backlash, on top of the fact that Pure Dark's mod has been very quickly cracked and shared for free across the internet, you've got people coming up with their own DLSS 3 mods that are being shared for free on Nexus Mods. This right here is a mod by Luke FZ564. And you can see right here that this mod replaces the built-in version of FSR2 with DLSS 3 plus DLSSG to enable frame generation. And obviously this garnered a lot more positive sentiments than the paywalled DRM'd version. And for those who are playing Starfield and want to test out the DLSS mod, there's a guide here by Rock Paper Shotgun that walks you through how to install DLSS in Starfield. Scrolling down, you can see there's a step-by-step process, as well as an explanation for how DLSS 3 sharpens the image, but it can also provide higher frame rates thanks to its NVIDIA frame generation technology. However, frame generation is only available to those using a card from the RTX 4000 series of graphics cards. There's a good amount of people who use the RTX 4000 series of graphics cards, and we're expecting that such mods that bring DLSS would be among the first to make their way to Starfield. Currently, mods aren't officially supported, but that will happen down the line. But while we wait for that, you know, DLSS was one of those implementations that seemed obvious, and to see such an obvious mod be paywalled and DRM'd, one that is so useful at that genuinely enhances frame rates. And yeah, Starfield, when it comes to performance, it's, you know, it's quite demanding. I can attest to that myself. And so this is one mod that people would like to see just available for free. So much of modding is that communal sharing of incredible, not only new content, but also incredible new fixes and features that just make the experience better for everyone. And the appeal of the modding community and what gives mods longevity is how accessible they are. And the second you start paywalling and DRMing mods and setting that as sort of the standard of what mods should be, that's where, you know, modding loses the spirit that makes it so special and that can take games and give it a level of longevity that you otherwise wouldn't see. Not to mention that DLSS is essentially like a graphic setting, and if Bethesda paywalled a graphic setting, there'd be plenty of backlash. But for a modder to do that, you know, that's a damn shame. It's one of those basic features that feels like should never be paywalled, because what you have here is essentially a graphic setting that you're selling as a microtransaction, or in the case of the modder, you know, as essentially a subscription fee for what should be a feature that already exists. And the fact that it's not in Starfield at launch already kind of sucks, but like charging for that, whether it's on the developer side of things or on the modding side of things, you know, that's not a great precedent to set. So yeah, this is kind of a basic summary of the controversy surrounding Pure Dark and his DLSS 3 mod, and the way he decided to approach releasing that, and the way he decided to try to monetize that and DRM that, and just kind of do something very corporate feeling when modding shouldn't feel corporate. You know what I mean? It shouldn't feel so monetization driven. And I also have questions surrounding whether he can monetize in such a way where he's straight up paywalling a mod for Starfield and not get into legal trouble. You know, one of the things that makes mods viable and what makes companies allow that stuff is the fact that people aren't monetizing it and making money off of, you know, the developer's product. It's one of those questions that should be raised, but primarily it is about the spirit of modding that feels has been lost with the way Pure Dark has decided to approach something so useful that I feel like any other modder like Luke FZ564 here would just kind of put out for free as a service to the community, as a service to the game for the longevity of the game, in support of just kind of fostering something that, will only grow bigger and bigger as long as it remains accessible, which paywalling and DRM, kind of defeats the purpose of. But, this is one man's take on all of this, and I'd love to hear what your thoughts and opinions are on all of this. Is Pure Dark justified in paywalling and adding DRM to his DLSS 3 mod, or are you in the camp of the backlash where that just feels like really scummy and just, again, defeats the spirit of modding, and it feels like it sets a bad precedent? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.